last night, but I still got 8 hours of sleep. So,
Well, fucking no problem there, mate.
lady apparently woke up my wife early, and my wife went back to sleep. So, yes, daylight saving, something you guys don't know anything about in South
Yeah.
Africa. Um, did the rain finally stop?
Trends like that, mate. Like the East Rand, like it's sunny in the morning and thunderstorms in the afternoon. It's just how it
We
is.
had a pretty bad windstorm last week, and there were a couple of tornadoes. And then yesterday, there was some pretty bad weather around us. It dropped. The temperature dropped by 25 degrees from Friday to Saturday, dropped by 25 degrees. So it's been a bit chilly and wet here, but
Yeah,
luckily it's no snow. It was snowing up in the Panhandle. I
yeah,
have a couple of our brothers with H-2A visas. You know all about that. Doing the farm work here in the U.S.
yeah.
It was snowing up in the Panhandle yesterday, and they were sending me photos, and I was like, "Yeah, it's 10 here, guys." They're like, "Yeah, I wish it was 10 here, but I got to get to work." So, man, another
Yeah, but it is starting to get to the tornado season by you
it
guys, isn't it?
is.
Around about
Yeah,
April,
yeah.
May,
It's
June,
so
around
it's the
about that time.
spring and the autumn that are the tornado seasons, and
Mm.
then spring through summer is hurricane season. So down in the Gulf, which we'll get rain from that, but
Yeah,
we won't actually get the hurricane. We're too far inland here. So,
yeah,
but another week. We had plenty of games this weekend. And some
yeah,
news and notes that we got to go through. We'll go ahead and get it started properly here. Properly, we'll talk about the big game in South Africa yesterday. If I can get
yeah.
this bloody folder to open up here, there we go. I mean, we have a new champion. Let's see if I can get this better here for us. A South Africa Shield champion, the Sharks, pulling it off yesterday. Did you watch this game?
I did, and I was like, "Fuck you, Lions! How can you go from the previous week, like completely shutting out the team, just about okay, to fucking losing a game?" Like I was like so annoyed.
Well, I mean, like, and it wasn't even like a thrilling. I mean, the
Yeah,
Sharks really didn't play that well. I mean, the Lions just made mistakes and didn't capitalize. But
yeah,
the big story is that up until Sia had gone to the Sharks, he had scored a grand total of 7 tries in his URC Super Rugby career. He's now scored
yeah,
9, and it's like sometimes maybe it's just a move that you need. Grant Williams, of course, doing what Grant Williams does, which is run
yeah.
really
Of course.
fast and score tries. It was good to see, Bongi, Ox, all those guys out on the pitch, seeing Sia finally return. It had been a hot minute since we got to see him play. We still don't have Evan Etzebeth, and I am kind of wondering if we're wrapping him in cotton at this point. If that's what it is. Like, hey,
Yeah, probably.
or maybe it's just, hey, you worked so hard, take some time off, enjoy your life, be
Yeah.
a dad, be a husband, that kind of thing. So,
Mm.
um, so the Sharks win I guess the South African Shield, which is the division of South African teams, and a bit disappointing from the Lions. I am wearing a Sharks jersey because they won, but a bit
Yeah.
disappointed from the Lions. But I still, it's hard not to like the Lions when they win because they win with basically no
Mm.
no one
Nothing.
essentially. So
Yeah.
it was
Their center is quite good though.
yeah, and I mean like I think Edville van der Merwe is world class as a winger. He is a world class winger.
Yeah.
I think there are some
Yeah.
solid. He didn't play obviously, but Keon Horn is really good in my opinion.
Yeah. I don't think he's quite on the level of a
No,
Springbok yet, so even though we
yeah,
capped him. But he's a
yeah,
solid player. I
and
mean,
then
but
you've
yeah.
got obviously Morne van Fundenberg, the scrum half. I mean, great, but when you match him up against somebody like Grant Williams, it's just there's no
Yeah.
comparison. Like Grant Williams is way
Yeah.
better. Um, But
Yeah.
congratulations to the Sharks. I mean, looking at where they were a year ago
Yeah.
and now looking at where they are now, yeah, it's quite a bit of a
Yeah.
difference here. Sticking to
Well, all you have to do, all right, to get that result, okay, file the Springboks and put them together and fuck coaching. Just buy all the Springboks.
So this looks to be the complete list of games. Rassi said we might get one more
Yeah.
added to this, but this is Springbok games for the calendar year 2025. The
Yeah.
recent addition, we get to play the Barbarians on the 28th, which
Hmm.
is always fun. I'm not like a big Babas fan, but I think it's cool because you always get to see like
A mixed
older
match of other players.
yeah, like older guys that maybe are a little past their prime, and then like some young
Yeah.
guys you've never really heard of, or guys that maybe are on the
Mm.
radar that maybe you need to look at on the radar a bit.
Yeah.
Um, Italy currently playing England right now. I turned it off at halftime. I mean, we already know England's going to beat the brakes off of everybody. Beats the brakes off of Italy. I mean, it is what it is, and
Yeah.
the Georgia
Except for
except for
maybe
Wales,
Wales.
yeah. And I mean, we got the Georgia test, which I think these are going to be fun games. These Italy and these because we're going to get to
Yeah.
see.
It's going to be
It's going to
physical
be new
games.
faces.
It's going to be a physical game.
I think we'll
Mm.
see a lot of debuts during those games.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
it's at home against the Wallabies. They're going to be that's going to be nasty because I mean they got the British and Irish Lions tour, which I think they're going to get absolutely smoked every game.
Yeah.
Um, and then it's to the nitty gritty. Right before my birthday,
Yep.
both games in Auckland or both games in New Zealand. I think we don't really need to talk about what the history is at Eden Park, but I'd like to break it. I'd like to break
Yeah.
it this year. I'd like to break that history.
Yeah, for sure.
Um,
Yeah, 100%. I mean, what is it? Fucking 50 years or 49 games or
yeah,
50 games or something? Something
I'm
ridiculous.
I'm good. I don't. I want to break that. I want to be the team to establish and
Mm.
say, hey, look, your dominance is it's over now. It's us now. So then we come back
Yeah.
home for the one game against the Pumas. Then we give a game. I guess once again, I guess thus proving like the game in Twickenham before the last World Cup will show those Northern Hemisphere teams what real rugby is, and they're back. Yes, we'll be playing the Pumas at Twickenham, and then we begin our Northern tour.
Yeah.
And um, I'm excited for this year. This is too goddamn long. We got what less than 4 months, less than four because July 5th. No, June 28th. So we've got
June 28,
oh
yeah.
man. Dude, this is still too far away. I'm sorry. It's too far. This is way too long to wait for
Yeah, for the Springboks. It's like, I feel like the other teams like play their internationals at like a completely different period
yeah,
of
yeah.
time because of not North-South hemispheres, of course. So, but it just always feels like we waiting forever. Like, I don't know if the other guys are playing right through the year because I don't follow Northern Hemisphere rugby that much. But I mean, it feels like the Springboks take off like fucking 8 months or something. It feels like
It's
fuck
for
long.
me, like this is the weirdest part in all of this, and like because of TikTok, because of my reach on social media, I made friends with a lot of Northern Hemisphere people, okay? And like for me, there just seems something weird because when you grow up in the Southern Hemisphere or on Southern Hemisphere rugby, everything's compartmentalized, okay? You have Super Rugby,
Mm.
you have a little break, you have your summer Europeans coming down for tour, you have the Rugby Championship, you have a little break. That's
Yeah.
usually when Curry Cup and NPC start. Then you have your end of the year tour, and then you have everything is broken down, everything is separated. With the Europeans, it's like we're going to
Yeah.
have our club competition, our club premier competition, and our international competition all in the same time. And
Yeah.
I feel like it's. I mean, there's times on the weekends where you've got every URC, every premiership, every Pro 14 game going at the same exact time. And it's like there's like 30 games of rugby being played. And
Yeah. Look, I mean, I think our way is a lot better
the,
from a player
the
welfare point of
proof is
view,
in the
from
pudding.
getting the best out of your team.
Look, look,
100%.
look at the results.
But it still feels like it's fucking forever. It still feels like it's
Well, I
forever,
know
though.
Rassi had said earlier this week about potentially wishing that we were on the Northern Hemisphere schedule. And I was like, no, no, because I
Yeah.
don't want my best players going and playing a club game, getting busted up, and then they can't play in the national. You know what I mean? Like, no, give me a gap.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah. Give them time to recover.
because
Yeah.
we'll get to it later. I mean, Toulouse is screwed now for 6 to 8 months. Like, we'll get to that.
Yeah. Why? Because of
The
the
puss,
post.
yeah. I heard he tore his puss, man. Like he's out for 6 to 8 months. And I got so many people like, oh, that's so classless of you saying this. I'm like, dude, I'm absolutely sick and tired of you guys acting like he's the greatest player in the world when I don't think you can say that about somebody until they're done playing. Like,
Yeah. No, and also, by the way, like for me, you know what makes it worse? It's the fucking commentators on the
dude,
games,
what are they gonna
man.
do for
Like
the next six
the
to eight
commentators
months?
are
What are they
like
gonna do for the next 6 to 8 months?
they fucking sucking this guy's dick in every fucking game. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like these guys, they don't even sound like they're French. They sound like they're Irish and
It's
English and
terrible.
stuff like that. And these guys are can't take his dong out of their mouths long enough to make proper commentary. And I'm like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah, it's I'm like, what are you guys gonna do for the next 6 to 8 months? I mean, you still got to still do your
Yeah.
grinder sponsorship shit with him. So I mean, like, who are you gonna suck off now? Like, we'll get to that later, but God, it's so bad. And I mean, we already knew he wasn't gonna do the tour to New Zealand anyways. So what is
Yeah.
the absolute point? So what we get to next here. Oh, I want to talk about this. Coach Rassi with some words here, talking about the future of the captaincy and Sia Khaleesi. It's always been something we've talked about. It's always like who's going to be the next man up. But I agree with what he's saying. If a guy's 34, 35, 36, injury free and fit and still in good shape, then it's still yours. And I mean, I agree with him.
Yeah.
Like, we've
Yeah, to me, it's got nothing to do about with who's the best player for that position, um, and what he brings to the team with that position. So, for instance, we've many times discussed that Sia Khaleesi brings the other players up like by a
he's
lot,
not the best
right?
flanker, but
So they
he's
become
not the
better
best
players.
flanker in the world by any means. But like
Yeah,
he takes the people around him and pushes them, and that's why you want him because it's like
yeah,
he. It's yeah, like you said, that's what makes Sia so great. That's what I think makes him a great captain. Is it's
yeah,
not because he's the best flanker. No, he's not the best. I wouldn't even put him in my top five flankers. But if I got to put a team together and I need them to go to that next level, I'm going to put Sia out on the field because he's going to make them go to that next
yeah,
level. And it's
yeah. Look, I mean, I still think he's in my top
yeah,
five personally. Um, but that's because I've loved Sia for many years. I mean, he used to play for a team I used to
Stormers. Yeah,
support, right? I mean, I used to support Stormers, and that's where he really played most of his rugby at that stage. So me, I've got a lot of respect for him, and I think like people that can run through a center like that guy. Ask the Irish; they will tell you.
yeah. It's oh god, I still remember that meme that I had made where it was from Family Guy and it was Peter like, hey, can you? He was like being a sketch artist for the police, and he's like, can you tell me
Yeah,
about the man that assaulted you? Could you 5'10", 5'11"? Was he black? Was he white? And it was like supposed to be, I guess that was Gary Ringrose, and he like, is this the
yeah,
man that assaulted you? And it was a photo of Sia. It's just like,
hundred
yeah,
percent.
and I mean, like I said, it's you want Sia just because, yeah, he plays well. I mean, especially now that we've changed kind of our offensive attack, how he goes out like. That's the weirdest part, man, is having him and Peter Steph Toy out so wide. So it's
Yeah,
like, okay, you're gonna have Cheslin or Kanan or Kurt Lee, and then you're gonna have this big ass guy. So it's like, okay, here's your choice. You try to tackle me, and I just offload it to this guy that you're not going to stop, or you just let me
yeah,
barrel through you. Like either way, you're not
yeah,
stopping the momentum of the ball. Like it's gonna keep going past you. And Sia
yeah.
is a master at that. We've seen him doing those go out wide offloads real quick to the wing or the center and just go, and it's yeah, as long as he's doing that, I'm okay. I'm okay with him. So
Yeah, man. I've got no problem with him being captain. I've got no problem with him being on the team as a starter. I actually think he isn't a off the bench type of player. I think he is one that you would
yeah,
start your game with because you want the most maximum amount of time with this player, right? Because the longer your team is inspired, the better they play for longer. The longer that happens, the more chances of scoring. So for sure, this guy is like if I have to like if you tell me like pick a team, he's like the first guy I put on my team
yeah,
list.
yeah. It's you need something to build it around, and he definitely provides that foundation that we love as Springbok fans and rugby fans.
Mm.
Continuing with news and notes with the Springboks. So obviously the law changes that have come into effect once again, you're kind of noticing it that I hate playing the victim and I hate playing this like, oh, it's all, but I mean, the fact of the matter is that when the All Blacks went back to back, you never saw them change the ruck rules. But when we went back to back, they want to
Yeah.
start changing everything now. And
And that was from like an Irish
yeah,
ex player, right? Or
yeah,
something like that. That was that
yeah,
comment. So it's not even
yeah,
coming from us, mate. Like it's not even us fucking complaining. It's like fucking the world pundits complaining on our behalf.
because they see it.
And it just it's just
Yeah.
obvious, right? It's just in your face. So I mean that guy used to play for
Yeah,
Ireland, if I'm
yeah.
not mistaken.
And I mean, like, facts is facts, man. I mean, that's the truth. It's like you never saw the rules change when the All Blacks did it, but as soon as we did, it's like, oh, yeah, we need to change the rules. So, agreed
Yeah.
on that one. Now we're going to move on. I got one more before we get to the international one, but this is something that I thought was hilarious. When we did it, it was disrespectful to the game, and we were ruining rugby.
Yeah, and then France goes
Oh,
up
they're
and does it.
innovator. They're
Like, what was
so
that?
innovative.
Who's that fucking jackass that fucking commented on it? That fucking
Yeah,
puss
it's.
man. I want to slap that oak on
Shit,
the
I want,
fucking forehead just
I
so
want
you
to
can wake the
dick
fuck
slap
up.
him, dude. Just like, look. We'll get to the game, but like, look, man. The fact of the matter is that you can't outdo the original. Come on, look at the names on that bench for the Springboks.
Look, man. At the end of fucking day, okay. At the end of the fucking day, okay. I just find it hilarious, okay, because let's think about it, okay. We so innovative, okay. It takes people a fucking year to
A
jump
year
onto the bandwagon.
plus. Yeah.
Okay, two years maybe, right? To jump onto the bandwagon and then end up being like, "Oh, this is like the coolest thing ever. We didn't know we can do this," right? Because the thing is, it's the same thing. Like in the 40s or 30s, I can't remember when it was. Okay, there was that like sub 4 minute fucking
Yeah,
mile or
yeah.
something like that, right? It was some ridiculous like that, and like everybody's like, your heart would explode if you can do that. It cannot be done, and then it was done, right? And then like all of a sudden that became like qualifying
Yeah.
criteria, mate. Like, so the fact of the matter is that this is just a fucking joke, okay? Because people want to badmouth us just because we're South African,
Yeah.
like the Springboks, right? But when other fucking teams does it, okay, they want to go suck their fucking dicks. Like fuck right off. Okay. You as a person should not be a pundit. Okay. All right. We are not pundits. Okay. Not really. Because why? Because we are biased. Okay. And we're openly biased. Okay. I'm a fucking Springbok supporter and fuck every other team. All right. That's how I feel about it. Okay. So I'm never going to be paid for my unbiased opinion on a fucking television show. Okay. But at least I'm not going to make stupid fucking comments like that motherfucker, whatever, that could never even win a game being a fucking coach. Okay. So, like, people should just shut the fuck up and watch this space,
Yeah.
watch what we do, and go copy us in 2 years'
It's
time. Okay. Just
I
shut the
just
fuck
like
up
I
in the
said,
interim.
and people wanted to talk about. It's like a lot of my followers, obviously Northern Hemisphere guys, and they're like, "Why don't you think it will work?" And I told them, I'm like, "Look, the All Blacks, okay. What positions can Villy play? Villy could play 10. He could play wing. He can play fullback. What can Hondre play? What can
Yeah.
Sasha play? What can Cheslin play? What can Jordan play? What can
Yeah.
You've got the reason the 7-1 works is because you have to have utility players. If you don't have
Yeah.
utility players, it will never ever work. And
100%. And that's why you got people like Dion Ferry being able to play. Why you got people like Grant Williams being able to play. Why you got people like Quagga Smith being able to play. Because they all really, nobody knows
you
where you're
can
going to
put
put
them
them at the end
anywhere.
of the day.
Yeah.
Because they've got so many
We're,
positions. So the only people that really remain locks is
Yeah,
Irvin.
because Peter Steph can play
Okay.
flanker.
And
So can Ludwig Jalkar if he ever comes back. Franco Mostert plays flanker. Like, you can do that with those guys. It,
yeah. So, I mean, at the end of the day, we've saw Sia playing 8 man
and he's
for
doing
the
damn
Sharks,
well at
right?
it.
And he's always
Yeah.
playing fucking flank. So the fact of the matter is that we've got players that are very versatile in their application to the game. Okay, so and unfortunately, when you have a look at the backs, this in New Zealand, some of those players really can only play
And
one fucking
that's
position,
why they're in
right?
trouble.
They can they can play the other positions, but they're
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
crappy at it, right? So yeah, that's a problem, man. So I don't think it's going to work for every country. I don't say it won't work for. It's not going to be for everyone. Okay,
Yeah.
so and that's why they never their type of players just don't
Yeah.
play that way. So they don't go that route. For us, we are able to put multiply skilled guys on the field that can cover 3, 4, 5, 6 positions. Like I remember Wildcard, and I know you're not a
Yeah.
big fan of him, but I remember him going on about um, um, what's it? What's a fullback's name? The other fullback
Oh,
from Stormers that's like
Damien
injured now.
Valenza.
Damien. Damien
Yeah.
Willemse, right? So Damien Willemse, he went on. He's like the best player in the world because he can cover so
Yeah.
many positions. And like 3 months later, when he was going on about this, okay, 3 months later, we've got fucking 8 players like that in the team. You know what I mean? And it's like, who are you gonna call the best player now? Like, because there's many of
Yeah.
them. There's Kane and Moody that can play wing, fullback, center. Um,
He's been
so like
kicking. He's been
this,
learning how to kick too. Kanan Moody's been learning how to kick, and it's
yeah.
like,
So
yeah, and that's kind of the thing. So who did it best? Of course we did it best because like we did it and won a World Cup doing it. You did it and
yeah,
beat Ireland. We're not the same. We're
yeah.
not the same. We did it and beat the All
Yeah, and not
Blacks.
even, and not even a good
Yeah,
Ireland
I
either.
mean,
To
yeah,
be quite frank, they weren't really ever like they could they how many times in the 22 of
we're
France
gonna get
played,
to
right?
that now.
Like they just couldn't get through that.
That was fucking embarrassing. I thought I had the score up for it. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Oh God. Oh, this was.
And you know what they did? They did it mostly without that fucking topus, which I'm so fucking
Yeah.
ecstatic about, right? Because I mean, like I wanted them to play well without that jackass in the team, okay? And they fucking went out and
I,
proved that, mate. Like their defensive structures were
dude,
fucking on point.
we say all that, but man, I'm gonna be completely honest with you, man. Like Angus Gardner was the man of the match yesterday. That guy did a fucking terrible job officiating that game. And I mean, on both sides. He missed a no arms tackle, Peter
Yeah,
O'Many. He missed so much shit. There were so many offsides that France had
yeah,
that never got called on France. And I'm like, and I usually don't have anything necessarily bad to say about Angus Gardner. I think he's, been an okay
yeah,
official. That was absolutely, dude, the guy wanted to
yeah,
inject himself in the entire game. And I'm like, dude, stop. We don't we
yeah,
don't we don't care about your fucking opinions, man. Just officiate the fucking match. Like do your fucking job
yeah.
and stop. And oh man, this is where this is going to turn real. These are the two best teams in Europe? Really? Really?
I gotta be honest. When I had a look, so the thing was right, like with somebody like Sexton on the team. Okay, these guys had vision when they
He was
were
a
attacking.
general. He was a
Okay,
general. He ran the
100%.
team.
Okay, so in yesterday's game, like the guys were so bland. There was like they like just doing the whole same thing the whole time. There was like nothing innovative. Like they weren't trying anything out of the way. They thought, oh, maybe let's have our gameplay just like let's just run through them the whole time. Like, no, bro, that's South Africa that runs through people. You need to fucking go use your fucking hands, bro.
This guy is rubbish. Dude, I
He's
there
not
were so
Sexton.
many times where there were rocks that were getting kind of packed and busy, and they do the wide shot, and you'd
Yeah,
see this motherfucker taking 3 steps backwards. That's the
yeah.
difference.
He's no Sexton,
Sexton
man.
would get into that shit, or he would get himself in a position to where when
Yeah,
the ball pops out, he can distribute, he can kick and
yeah,
do whatever. This guy was out of place so many fucking times, and I know the argument is, oh, he's young, he's 22. Like, look, Manny Libok, okay? Andre goes out. We put our full support into him. Okay. Andre comes back and we have to admit Manny needs work. He needs a lot of work. Okay.
yeah.
Irish fans will not accept. They won't accept. Maybe this isn't the guy. Oh no, he's
Yeah.
going to be. He's going to be great. Give him time. No, you have to live in the reality that not everybody's going to be what you want them to be.
Yeah, he is not gonna be Sexton, mate.
And they won't accept that like maybe that's not the answer. No, he's you don't know, you're just a hey. No, I'm looking at the reality of the situation now. Do I think they should have gone with a veteran? They should have started Jack Crowley. He was a veteran. He played against France. He knew what to expect. This guy was a deer in the headlights. It reminded me of when Jordan got his first start against Wales. Jordan Hendricksa got his first start. He looked like a deer in the headlights because it was his first cap, his first start. He was a deer in the headlight. He was,
Yeah.
like out of place all the time.
Yeah.
And you accepted that. And we said it at the end of the game. Hey, he's not ready yet. Give him some more time. Comes back, does well when he comes
Yeah.
back in that match against Portugal. But it's like the Irish fans got like these blinders on. They don't want to see. Like they just no. That's the truth. That's the future. That's what we're. And it's like maybe he's not. Have you accepted that? Maybe this is not the guy.
Let's put it this way. That guy's no Sasha.
No, fuck no. Not even close. Not even close. No.
So we can see that Sasha's
Oh,
the future,
100%.
right?
Yeah.
You can see that. You can see that. He's young. The way that he plays is just like years ahead of himself. He's got like wisdom when he's on the field. He makes the right
They're the same
decisions.
age. They're the same age.
But this is what I'm saying. Okay, so you can see, we can see when people are the future, right? We know Sasha's the future. If he can stay fit, okay, I know he had some injury stuff going on, but I mean, if he can stay fit, man, that guy's going to be, he's going to be our future number 10. That's where he's gonna play. That's his position.
But I'm also, if
Okay,
somebody else,
you're not gonna
yeah.
fucking leave
But if
him out.
somebody else pops up, I'll give that guy a shot. Like it's
If somebody's
yeah,
better than him, he's gonna
yeah.
get the shot.
It's
So, but
and that's what I worry about, is that they don't
but
want to accept that, like, hey, maybe, yeah, maybe this isn't the right guy, but they don't want to.
but we never saw. I'm just asking the question because I can't remember now. Okay, it might have happened, but I don't know. I can't remember because my memory is fucking trash. Okay, we never saw Sasha playing with Willemse on
No,
Springboks, right? Because they were like injured and
yeah,
around
yeah,
each other type thing.
yeah,
I would love to see that happening, right? I know Willie was there because of experience, trying to like help him out,
yeah.
making the right decisions. But so is Willemse, man. Willemse is also experienced by now, and he's still
And I
young.
still don't think we've
I
seen.
mean, two
Yeah,
World Cup
we
winner.
still haven't seen what I think is going to be our peak back line, which I think is going to be Colby,
Yeah,
Arenza, and Kanan Moody, or Damian Valemza. Put Kanan Moody in at center. Dude, if we do something like that with Sasha at 10, dude, we would be the most explosive offense in the world. Like, it would be unreal. And oh god, it would
yeah.
be beautiful to watch. And then all those Cape Tonians that want to be All Blacks fans, we can look at them like, really? With that back line, you want to be an All Blacks fan? Fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here, dude. That's your folks.
But who would you put on center though, mate?
Ah, fuck, man. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I don't know if you've been checking out Ethan Hooker, man. That kid is mean, man. Playing for the Sharks, that kid is good.
But even Enku van Wyk
Another
though.
guy that would work real well. I mean, like, hell, dude. I'd even look at, like, maybe having your one real big vet in that back part being like a Creel or Dialendi or or, you know what I mean? Let that be
Yeah,
like your anchor of age in the back, be one of those guys, and, like, come on, man, and make that,
yeah,
if you do a 7-1 split, that's who you change out. You change out your veteran. And you bring in another veteran to
yeah,
replace him, like a Jesse Creel or somebody off the bench. Like, it's
yeah. Like wrap them in
yeah,
paper
and
bags, type thing, right? Or like in some
but
cotton
it's
wool,
like, I
whatever.
think that's the difference too, is like, if somebody's not working for the Springboks, we go like, okay, let's see the next guy up. It's like with Ireland, like, they had three guys play their last home game yesterday, and this will be their last caps that they get for
Mm.
Ireland, and it's like, they're all kind of like, whoa, the future, the future, the future. And I'm like, dude, we're going to be the oldest team going into the next Rugby World Cup. And people are like, are you worried about that? And I'm like, no,
Yeah,
because when those guys are done, there's a whole crop of dudes right behind them. Like, we,
yeah.
we, we,
We're already blooding them in now, so
and I
that's
think
the
that's the
point.
other thing too, is we also tend to go like, we'll have one or two youngsters. You'll have, like Damien was at one time, but you have like a Kanan Moody or a Sasha Feinberg. Those are your youngsters. We've got Cameron Hennecom. He's our youngster now. And then you have the guys that are like 29, 28, 29, 30 and older. And then you have that
Yeah,
entire crop of guys that are from 24 to 27, which would be right now Damien, Manny Libach, Kurt. You know what I mean? Like, you have a crop of those guys in their
yeah,
mid to late 20s. But we also are a country where our props and our front row, they don't hit peak form until 32 years old.
yeah. And we've got other
Yeah.
players though. Like in the prop lineup, like that's fucking good props, mate. Like we've seen it. Locks,
Yeah.
same thing. I mean, look how that guy from the Bulls played for the Springboks,
Oh,
man.
real
Like that guy fucking
Norkia?
played his fucking
Yeah.
socks off.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He was not even on my radar. He wasn't even on my radar. And it was just like,
hundred
he popped
percent.
up and you're like, holy shit, this guy is good, you know? Like, and that's the thing about the Springboks. We don't have to have, like, it doesn't have to be the star of the team. Like, yeah, we called for Cameron Hennecom. We've called for some of these guys. But then there's guys that just pop up and you're like, man, I never really paid attention. Like, 2 years ago, I didn't see Sasha Feinberg. Like, I knew who he was, but I didn't see him as
Yeah,
like, that's going to be the future. And then when he finally got a shot, you're like, holy
yeah,
shit, that guy's going to be our future. Like, it's not. And
yeah,
maybe, like I said, it's also a depth. We have a huge player pool in South Africa. Ireland doesn't have the same size player pool, but it's also just like, they didn't just get outplayed yesterday. They got out coached. They got out everything, man. Like, it,
100%. 100%. They had no plan.
no,
They had no plan. When you look, like I said, they've just rehashed the same shit like both halves. Just like they had nothing like
yeah. And
really
I mean,
changing.
like, I brought up the summer tests or the winter tests. Like, that's what I loved about those
Yeah.
tests because we won game one. Like, it was a good game. They came back in the second game and smacked us in the face and answered and adjusted and beat us, you
Mm.
know? And it's like, what happened to that? That team doesn't, it's like that team hasn't existed since then. Like, they
Yeah,
don't
100%.
adjust on the fly. They don't, you know what I mean? Like, and that's what you want to see that. You want to see teams that can do that because it makes the game fun. It makes it competitive. And it's like Ireland is just like, oh, okay, well, Johnny's gone. Let's just go back into a holding pattern where we do the same thing. And it's like, and I mean,
Yeah.
also, you know, what if they've already peaked?
They say that South Africa plays boring rugby,
My,
right? Where they say like, so if South Africans play and they see Plan A don't work, they go back and try Plan
yeah,
A.
yeah,
That's what Ireland did yesterday. They fucking Plan A, Plan A, and we're like, okay. So for me, when I see when I see, uh, let's say hypothetically, the Springboks playing kind of trash, right? Like in the first half, okay? In my opinion, being trash. Like it, for other people, they might be like, oh, they're playing well, right?
yeah,
But I can see like sometimes they're playing a bit cuck, okay? Then I can't wait for half time because I know that Russ is going to put something in them. And I know somebody like fucking Peter Steph the Toy is going to say something and be like, listen, boys, pull up your fucking socks. Let's go out there and do this, right?
yeah,
You
yeah,
know you're going to see a different team in the second half. That's what you know, okay? So maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, not the same thing. But
yeah,
we've
yeah,
now grown accustomed to these guys. When they go into the sheds and they come back out, man, there's something else going on, right? And that's why teams like New Zealand cannot fucking score a try in the fucking last 20 minutes against South Africa anymore. Okay, because why? Because we fucking go back and we like let's go fuck them up. They go, oh, let's put the worst fucking players from the bench onto our squad
yeah,
because we got nothing else to give them, and
yeah,
maybe not even use everybody, and let's run our guys fucked up onto the field.
yeah.
Okay, you know what I mean? Like,
It, and I think the difference now, and I mean, we could talk about this, that like you think of where the Springboks were 8 years ago and you think about where they're at now. Like, even losses always hurt, but now they hurt even more because you know those guys have that fire inside of them and it's
yeah,
just not burning enough for them to get the win when they need to. I mean, we did lose a couple of games this last year, obviously, and you looked at them and it was like, yeah, we lost, and it's because we didn't want to win. And I think that's the difference now is like, I don't think we're getting outskilled or outplayed. It's just sometimes we just don't have that desire. And
mm,
I think Ireland laid back on their skill for so long that they lost that hunger. They lost that hunger
yeah,
to go out. And I mean, like, I've told them, I'm like, dude, you guys need to lose some games this year. And they're
yeah,
like, why? And I'm like, because that's how you look at. We went from our darkest point as a team in history to winning a World Cup and then winning another one.
yeah,
You have to go through some pain. You have to go through some just nasty times to rebuild. And I feel like Ireland's been on top of the mountain for so long they forgot what
yeah,
that felt like, what it's like to
yeah,
be shit. And every time we lose, I feel like we get that feeling again, and it just
yeah,
you could just tell the boys just try so much harder the next game, and
yeah,
maybe that's what Ireland needs. Maybe they need to go on like a little lull for a while so they can remember, hey, this is what you are. But on the last little thing about Sam Prendergrass, I think yesterday that he's not getting selected for the British and Irish Lions. That right there showed me don't select
mm,
him at all. Um, and then
yeah.
yeah, it's just I feel sorry. He's 22, so he's a young kid. But like honestly, guys, if he's not the right guy, then he's not the right guy. I mean, you're gonna have to accept that at the end of the day.
100%. Unfortunately, it's hard to sometimes like look at the mirror and see the problem, right?
Yeah.
It's hard to be truly honest on occasion, all right, with yourself and so forth. So, it's obviously hard for the supporters to understand that this guy is just maybe not. He might be the future in the future, but he's currently not the future.
Not the
He's not
future.
your. He's not your Sexton at the moment, mate. Like just does not general the team.
Well, and
Okay,
that's the
and
thing.
unfortunately, that position though is such an important position. Like for me, like you heard me last week, right? I said the Bulls are going to be unstoppable next year. Okay, why? Coming back
Because the general's coming back.
to
The
fucking
field
town.
general's
Okay,
coming.
100%. They still have a fucking amazing squad. Okay, but they got Villy playing out of fucking position at number 10. Okay, he is not a world class number 10. He's a world class number
Exactly.
15. Okay, that's where his position is. Okay, so the thing is, your team can be as good as it wants. If you're fucking fly off the shit, you're gonna fucking struggle, mate. Like you're gonna struggle your ass off. Okay, you need that position and your scrum off. Your scrum off and fly off is such important positions because they're the ones to distribute the ball. And unfortunately, for Ireland,
He's
Prendergast is
not.
not the guy.
He's just
He's just
yeah.
not
And I
that
mean, like
guy.
that's the thing. Like I keep telling them that. Like, look at how many caps Sexton had. Like, you're not going to
Yeah,
replace that overnight. When Andre Pollard goes, we're not going to replace him overnight. When
yeah,
Mornay gave up time for Andre, it was like you're not going to replace Mornay Stan. Even though I'm going to be honest with you, I would still select Mornay at peak over Andre at peak. I don't know why. I don't know if you'd agree with me on that, but
yeah. I prefer. Look, man, I'm personally I prefer
really,
Pollard.
is it just?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't
I
know
think
why.
Mornay at peak. I think.
Like both of them are both of them are
Oh
calm,
fuck you!
cool, and
That's what I
collected,
like.
right?
They're like pretty
So
much like the same. I get Andre is just slightly better. I just preferred Mornay Stan. I just like the way he kind of was on the field. But I get it. Andre is better because he also is just kind of a guy that can kind of like if ball distribution isn't an issue, he can step back and basically be a second 12. Like he can play like that
yeah,
defensive inside kind of spot, and like you like that about Andre too. Um, the other big
yeah,
news, obviously, I'm already hearing rumors that they're going to try and bring up the two guys that did this because it was a guy fell on him and then the guy pushed him and that's what happened. Oh, we need to get World Rugby to look into this. So the European I'm trying to think of the good word here. They're we can't win shit internationally, but we're gonna say everybody hey everyone, we have the greatest player in the world is looking to be out. We already knew there was going to be some excuse for him not to go to New Zealand on the summer tour, winter tour for New Zealand. So now this looks like it's really not going to happen. So when we get to if in the event that he's still not ready when we play them in the end of the year, it's going to be their excuse. Oh well, if we had Antoine, we could have beat you. No, you couldn't, because we beat your ass in the World Cup too. Granted by 1 point, but that was a slugfest in that quarterfinal. But
yeah.
he's out for 6 to 8 months.
But still, that being said, where's his
Yeah,
mask
yeah,
for his
yeah.
leg?
I mean, and I mean,
We
well,
want
wait,
to
wait,
see him
wait.
on the
I do
field.
have to bring up something. We had a very important player go down with an ACL too, right before the World Cup, man. And for some reason, he
Yeah.
was back playing in 3 months and playing
No.
absolutely lights out as our
Yeah.
captain.
It
Yeah,
was four, but yes, it was 4 months, and he played like he never left. Um, and then he went on to play with a
with
broken
his
like
cheek
face,
broken.
you know, like his nose or something.
Yeah,
It was something that was
yeah.
broken, and he went on to score a try on that
If I
game,
could,
if I
yeah, I think you
recall.
might
And
be right on that one, man. Jesus.
so
So
at the end of the day, bro, like you can call yourself the best ever, but like if you can't come back in 4 months, play with whatever, fucking still break your face again and then go on and score a try. You're not the best,
It's
mate. What the
just
fuck,
I
man?
like, and that's like the thing too. When I saw this injury, that was the first thing that came to my mind was like, didn't Sia have this too? And then come back and was like, yeah. And I mean, like we later found out that Sia actually, I think when the World Cup was over, he actually had to go get like they did part of the surgery and then he got it finished afterwards. And like it's just look. I think that's kind of what does Drickus Duplessis say? The,
Ja. Hulle
they
weet
don't
nie
know
wat ons
what we
weet nie.
know. They're not built like us, and we're gonna find out real quick. They are in fact not built like us. Like it's just. I mean, come on, man. I mean, how many guys do you know that go in for their first team photo with their team to get their first cap, and their photo they have like the biggest shiner. Jean Klein, remember that first game? He
Ja,
comes in,
remember?
comes in to
Remember?
the biggest shiner. Just
I'm still thinking they knocked him on the face like in the
no, I
pregame or
think it was
something.
probably that
Like,
full training that they do. I think on Wednesdays or Thursdays, they probably said like, "All right, sink or swim, motherfucker. This is gonna decide whether you get to dress or not."
this is gonna sting. This is gonna sting just a little, mate. Like,
Because I hate to be like that's probably one of those things. If you're like a young guy and you get called up to the box squad and you're going into those trainings, and I'm sure if it was you or me, we'd be like trying to get selfies with everybody and autographs because we're so excited. But then it's like, yeah, kid, hope you enjoyed the selfie. I'm about to like fold your ass tomorrow in training. You're gonna get folded like a fucking table, and it's like, no, no, like, it's just
just hope you're something like a fucking lock or a fucking like prop or something. Because imagine if you had to run up against Eben and you want to tackle him. You already know that guy takes fucking even training fucking
God.
seriously. Like he gets pissed off at his own players, mate. Like let alone another team. Right? So imagine you being like a fucking little scrum off and Eben runs at you and you have to like come on, bro. Like that's just not fucking
Have,
fair.
have you ever? I've watched like the videos of like trainings when they're out on the pitch and it's like full contact trainings, and you've got Rassi, hat on, and he's kind of walking back and forth, and kind of when they don't do something, he'll be like, "Hey, no, 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 you follow through." You know what I mean? Like, because he's a coach. Like, he's like, "No, you don't
Mm.
do that. We
Yeah.
follow through and we do this. If the guy's not in the right spot, you need to yell at him to get in." You know what I mean? It's like they do that, and then
Mm.
you see Eben, Sia. Well, when Dwayne was still there, they would be in their circles. The coach would be shouting at them, and then they'd be shouting at the players, and it was like it's almost like
Mm.
they're coach themselves, and Rassi is just kind of a director of what's going on, and you just don't. I
Yeah.
don't.
He goes.
Yeah. And if somebody gets the note wrong, hey, you got the fucking wrong note over there, man. You need to do this, like, and I just don't. And I mean, like I said, I don't. We got on the subject of greatest coaches, and like people are like Hansen and Graham Henry, and I'm like, yeah, you can put them in those categories. They're like, oh, I'd put Rassi. I'm like, Rassi is great. I'm not gonna call him the greatest until he's done. If he
Yeah.
wins another World Cup, which I think he will, then yeah, we can start saying he's the greatest coach of all time. Like, because he's the only one that's won three. Like, um,
Yeah.
but like that's what I'm saying. Kind of goes back to this whole like idea of who's great. Like Antoine Dupuis, is he a good rugby player? Yeah, he's a great rugby player. But does we saw
Mm.
yesterday they didn't need him to win.
100%. What? You went off in
Yeah,
like the 28th
yeah,
minute, something like that. So apparently, France can still fucking fuck up Ireland
yeah.
without you, mate.
So take that
So
how you want it, Ireland, or take that how you want it, France. Like you don't like. And then people saying like, "Oh, this is over for France." I'm like, didn't we lose the greatest hooker on the planet 3 weeks into a
mhm.
World Cup?
Yep.
at a trainings nonetheless, not in a game. At trainings,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
watch if you watch Chasing the Sun season 2. I think it was the second or third episode, and you see the incident. Like you see the camera drop, and everybody just loses it immediately
yeah,
because like they know, oh shit, we're fucked. And then you get this 37-year-old who had never been capped a year earlier, taped up shoulder, taped up everything, and was like, yeah, I guess it's me now. Like and it's
but doesn't even play fucking hooker, mate. He plays fucking flank.
yeah, we had him, and then I think it was also SCOM that they were trying to train to be a hooker
Yeah,
as well.
yeah,
And then in the final against the other best team on the planet, you get a dirty motherfucker tearing out Bongi Manambi's knee. So it's like, oh, hey, Dion, this is your first final. This is your first World Cup, and you're about to have to play 73 fucking minutes at hooker. Like,
yeah. Out of
and
position, mate.
yeah,
Like,
completely out of position.
and if you go off, Cheslin, you're up.
Yeah. And I mean, like, and everybody just came together and everybody made it happen. And I'm like, that's the difference between good teams and great teams. Good
Yeah,
teams can win. Great teams can win when they lose their most important pieces.
yeah,
Like, because regardless of whether you're a flanker fan, whatever, the forward pack, you have to have a world class hooker to have a
yeah, yeah,
good forward pack because set piece play is so important. No matter what Major League Rugby is trying to do, you have to have a strong hooker to have a strong team. Like you
yeah,
cannot win with a weak hooker. It does not
yeah.
work like that. So
And just so by the way, like, there's nobody fetching a ball on the ground like Marks, mate. Like he just
shit.
fucking takes balls off you. Like, okay, maybe there's Quacha as well, who's like a fucking he's like a like he's like a fucking what's the thing? It's not a badger. What's the other thing?
A
Like the
Wolverine.
no, he's just like he just wants to fuck you up on the field the whole time. Just like give me the fucking ball, mate. Like
It's almost a competition when he comes on. It's like he looks over
yeah,
at Peter Stuff to Toy if he's going to be still playing because usually Quagga
yeah,
places 8 or 6 and looks
yeah.
over at him and was like, oh, so I guess you set the bar. I guess I need to jump over said bar and we'll do what Peter Stuff to Toy does in 80 minutes and does it in 25 or 30 minutes and always ends up scoring some incidental try because he picks up some ball out of the fucking ruck and just runs like a motherfucker because he thinks, oh yeah, am I still playing sevens? Oh no, this is
Yeah,
15s.
this
Okay, yeah,
15s.
yeah. So like, and I think that's what is the unique thing about Quagga Smith is that we have a sevens veteran in our forward pack, a
Yeah.
sevens veteran. Like you get the
And he
sevens
picked
guys.
up weight though, like a motherfucker.
He had to. He didn't have any fucking choice, man. He's captaining his side in Japan. I mean, like, dude, the
Yeah.
guy is like, I have to go back and watch sevens footage of him to remember. Yeah, dude, that guy was, and he wasn't a bad sevens
Yeah.
player either. It was just kind of like one
Yeah.
of the, we talk about those guys that make the transition, and everybody will want to talk about Cheslin, or they'll talk about Sonny Bill Williams, or they'll talk about all these
Mm.
guys. Honestly, if you really look at it in the scheme of things, the greatest transition from sevens to 15s, it has to be Quagga Smith, just because he's not a
Yeah.
wing or a back. He's an 8-man or
100%.
a flanker. Like,
But even if you have a look, right? Like I've watched some of his like replays, right? There was one game where I think it was Cheslin Colby passed him the ball big,
yeah,
okay? And the other players came and they took him almost out, mate. He almost didn't
yeah,
make the try. Okay, because they fucking ran through him and he like somersaulted and then like
yeah,
placed the ball. Man, if that had to happen now, that guy's gonna be on his fucking ass. Like he would like fucking take him out, bro. Like
yeah,
he's massive at the moment.
yeah,
Like for his length, he's probably one of the smallest fucking flankers, man. Like in terms of height, okay. But he's
yeah.
bulky as fuck, and he's like even Jordan Hendricks, mate. I don't know if you noticed, he like picked up weight, eh? Like this last while, he picked up some weight.
So let me see how tall he is. Oh, he's 1.8 centimeters. So yeah, at flanker he would be a very very short flanker at 1.8 centimeters. So yes, I have noticed that Jordan has started packing on bulk. Like his upper body is getting bigger,
Yeah.
and it's like going back to Sam Prendergrast, dude. I've said it time and time again. If you want him to get better, he's gonna have to bulk up.
Yeah, for sure.
And they're like,
He needs
well,
to put on some muscle, mate.
why does he need to bulk up? I'm like, because if you're gonna run your 10 the way you want to run them, like Sexton, you're gonna need a guy that can take a fucking hit and lay one too. Sam Prendergrass can't do either. He can't
Man,
do
if that guy
either,
comes up against the Springboks, okay, they're going to fucking annihilate him, mate. Like
dude.
he's gonna
I,
be
I,
like, no, 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 no. I need, I just got a call. I left
yeah,
my shit on at
yeah,
home. I need to go.
yeah. I mean, he's gonna find out what Richie Moonga and Jordy Barrett both found out, that like if we target you, we're going to fuck you up. Like it's not going to be a good day at the office. And I mean, like yesterday, France didn't even target him. The reason France beat them is because they had weak ass wingers. France saw it and attacked their wings, and they knew they could go up the fucking middle because they knew that 10 was not going to get in the way.
Yeah,
You do that against the Springboks, you're going to have not only Peter Stuff, Quagga, all these guys coming at you. Andre Pollard's going to fucking run up against you too. He's going to get in your
yeah.
face. And if Jordan keeps bulking up, he's going to be the same way. He's going to be the guy that come my way, bitch. See what happens. Like,
Or you're gonna have somebody like Kanan Moody, man.
yeah,
Like there's very few people that I've noticed like Kanan Moody. Like he can. There's an Afrikaans saying, okay, where you say, man, daai ou tackle 'n ou raak. Okay, because that's exactly what he does. When he tackles you, like on the defensive line, he fucking lays you out, and
we've
he's not
seen it
even that
happen.
big.
We've seen
He's
it
not even
happen
that
time and
big.
time. Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean,
But
shit, dude.
man,
We've seen Cheslin Colby lay guys out twice his size. Like,
I mean, what's that? Barrett, Scott,
yeah,
Scott. What?
yeah. Like we've seen Cheslin Colby get a ball and stiff arm a guy that was twice his size. Like because I've asked on social media and gotten a few responses of who the most in shape guy is on the entire Springboks, and every single one of them have always said Cheslin Colby.
Yeah,
They said that guy does not have an ounce of fat on his body. He is salt, like he is made out of just muscle. That's all he
yeah.
is, and it's like maybe that's like I said, man. Maybe that's what Ireland need. Maybe they need to hit the weights, man, and put some weight on some of these young guys, and potentially, you know.
You hear that, Prendergast? Go off the vegetarian diet, mate, to get some fucking steak in your mouth.
Oh fuck! Hold on. Gotta show you this. You're gonna laugh. I ate them already. But for those of you that don't know, I was a vegetarian vegan for 18 years. Okay, this is vegan jerky, aka like the most that would be like the nails on a chalkboard for a South African to hear that. But it's made out of soy. I got some at the health food store yesterday because I hadn't eaten it in years. But um, I have yet to meet a vegan rugby player, and I for a while I'm like, why is that? Why is? And then I realized why. Because I don't think you could fucking play rugby and be a vegan unless you're like really, really like into like eating certain things and whatever like that. But like, I'm sorry, Texas.
Man, you passed out
Yeah.
after
Well, I
fucking
mean,
10
like,
minutes.
well, kind of to bring up a completely different story. We are in the holy month of Ramadan for Muslims all around the world, where they must fast from
Yeah.
sunrise to sunset. And a few years back, when we still had a local team here, there was a guy on the team who was a flanker named Mohammed Abdulmanam, but he went by Mo. Mo was born in Egypt, grew up in Qatar, and then moved to Canada and played sevens for Canada and played rugby professionally. And during the holy month, I asked him, I'm like, "Are you fasting?" And he's like, "Of course I am, dude." And I'm like, "How?" And he's like, he was like, if anybody questions my faith, I just show them that I'm a professional athlete and I actually adhere to my faith. And I'm like, whoa. So he told me one time they were playing a game. It was a home game on a Friday or Saturday night. And I was like, he hadn't drinking water, hadn't drank water all day, hadn't eaten anything. He got up at 5 in the morning and ate a shit ton and drank a shitload of water because he had a game that day. Went through trainings, went through everything, not drinking no water, not eating anything. And they play the game. They go into the sheds at halftime, and he ate like the biggest plate of like Alfredo chicken, drank like water, and he was like, that was what the team would do for him. Was at halftime they made sure, because the sun had gone down, he could eat at halftime. So they'd go into the sheds and everybody else is drinking water and checking their wounds and whatever. And this guy's sitting up in the medical office just like pigging the fuck out because he hadn't eaten all day. And even him, he was just like, "Oh yeah, a lot of protein. You gotta eat protein five times. Like you have to, because you're a rugby player. You're gonna burn out real quick."
Yeah.
And, luckily we have a spokesman for that whole thing in South Africa by the name of Oxenche, as his handle on all social media is salads don't win scrums. Like it's
100%.
eating a big ass fucking cake this goddamn thick. Like, but that's the beauty of the game. And I think that I've met very few vegetarian South Africans. For some reason, they all seem to live in one place, too. Can you guess where they all live?
Fucking Cape Town.
Yeah, they're all Cape Tonians. They're all Cape Tonians.
Oh, fucking Nancy boys over there. They all fucking
There's a guy that I follow who was doing South African provinces as U.S. states, and he said that Western Cape, he was like, it's the California of South Africa. And I'm just like, he's like, they're more. There's a lot more gay people. If you're an artsy fartsy, you want to work at a coffee shop for a living, that's usually where you live, is in Cape Town. And I'm just like, yeah. He's like, yeah. And he said that. So he said that Western Cape was California. The KZN is Florida.
Yeah.
And then the Orange Free State, I think he said, was Texas.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I would agree.
He said
with that.
Gauteng, your province you live in, would be New York State and city, because you got Joburg, you got Pretoria, and then it's kind of the financial center, the commerce. But anyways, yeah, Western Cape is California. And I think it's kind of funny because even in Canada, the western part of Canada is called, instead of WC, it's BC, it's British Columbia. In Canada, we call it British California because it's basically the California of Canada is BC. And it's where everyone's kind of I mean, it's pretty, and I mean, the women are nice, but people are just a little, they're a little odd there. They're a little different from the rest of the country.
I had a job offer there.
No shit.
I had a job offer there in Victoria. Yeah, in Victoria, British Columbia, I had a job offer there. But unfortunately, those little fucking baby boys don't. I wanted more hours because I was going to be paid an hourly wage.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't live off that fucking money. And the guys were like, yo, but you have to enjoy life. I'm like, what? Eating out of a fucking dumpster because I can't afford shit. Like, come on, bro. And then I eventually didn't take the job.
Yeah, and I hope you would have eaten a lot of Chinese food, because that's what BC basically is, a lot of Asian people.
Japanese food. Because I was going to work for a Japanese restaurant.
No shit. Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, it's not bad or anything. I just think it's funny when people... Yeah. And then, like, if you talk to people in Cape Town, they're extremely proud. Don't but they'll even admit, like, yeah, we're the cooler, hip, younger brother of the rest of the country. And I'm just like,
yeah, 100%.
I don't know if you're the cooler and hip, but you're definitely the younger brother. Like it's
definitely, definitely the hip. I don't know about cooler, but the hip, so as in hipster.
like I was making like poppin' wars one time, and I'm talking to my buddy in like Cape Town, and he's like, I don't eat that hot tank crap, and I'm just like, what the fuck are you talking? Pop is amazing, man.
Yeah.
And that's when I found out that people in the Western Cape don't eat pop. They do not eat pop.
But that's not even a Gauteng thing. I mean, you'll find that in Free State as well.
Dude, you find that
And
in
Limpopo,
America,
Mpumalanga.
dude. You find that in America. They don't call it pop here though. So
What
you
do
know
they call it?
it's grits.
Grits. Okay.
Yeah. I know you've heard like Southern food. Those like bacon and grits, eggs and grits. It's a
Yeah,
Southern
I've heard
thing
of
here.
grit. I just didn't know it was the same thing.
It's not the exact same thing, but they're both. So pop is maize. It's corn.
Hmm.
Grits is hominy. So they're the
Okay.
same plant family, vegetable family, and they're both essentially the same thing. Grits are a little bit more. Pop is like fluffy and floury. Grits are a little bit more like a rice consistency.
I see what you're saying.
So like it's more of a it would be like if you put your pop in and didn't cook it for long enough and then eat it. Like it's kind of got like that grainy
Mm.
consistency. That's what grits has, is like a grainy
Yeah.
and it's a little bit more. Some people like their pop a bit different. I like my pop really dry. Some people like there's
Yeah.
a little more moisture, a little bit more wet. I like mine really
Mm.
dry, and then I take my onion and tomato relish and put it on top, and then I'll chop up my boerewors and put
Have
it
you
with
ever
it.
had krummel pap?
No, I've had pop with sugar and butter
Okay, so
and
not krummel
honey.
pap.
No, no. What is that?
The krummel pap is it's like it's falling apart effectively, right? So krummel pap is it's basically pap, but just I think if I recall correctly, cooked longer
Yeah, no, no.
and
I see it. I'm
with
looking at it
more
now. Yeah,
flour.
it's a little bit more. It's drier. It looks like
Yeah.
it's a little more dry. So it would probably have a little bit more of like a rice type consistency.
No, 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 not
No.
at all. But I'm just thinking to myself, if you like dried pap, then krummel pap would be your thing, right? So when you come to South Africa, we're gonna fucking make sure you get krummel pap,
I want to
okay?
do the pop tart as well.
Because
I
it's
got to do
fucking
the
amazing.
pop tart as well.
Yeah, pop tart's
So,
amazing. Yeah.
yeah, the only problem I have about eating pop, and I don't know if you have this issue, it has a problem with expanding once it gets in you. Like you don't think you're eating that much, and then like an hour after you eat, you're like, "Fuck, I ate too much shit."
I'm
Yeah, like,
stuck. I'm fucking
and I
stuck.
get it.
Let me just go lie down with my
Yeah,
pants loose.
it's sustenance food. It's really just meant to fill your hole. There's
Yeah.
really not a lot of
Yeah.
nutritional value in it, but like it's
Mm.
good, and especially if somebody knows how they're making it right. Like it's for me, I still haven't figured out how to make it the best. Like I've done some good batches and I've done some really bad batches. I have a
Yeah.
couple of Hauteng female followers who've told me their recipe, and it's kind of hard to convert everything because our burners here are not on Celsius; they're on Fahrenheit. So like, I getting the
Yeah.
temperature correct is a bit like I had somebody the other day. I was using my air fryer here, and I set it to 400, and he was like, "Damn, dude, what are you trying to do? Scorch your food?" And I'm like, "No, that's like normal setting here," because he didn't realize, oh, it's Fahrenheit here; it's not Celsius. And
Yeah.
so sometimes, like I said, I have a really big ass bag of maize meal from South Africa in my pantry because that shit never really goes bad. Like it's just something that like you can always
Mm.
keep on tap, and all you need is water and salt and and your pup, and you put it in and you let it boil, you let it get soft, and you do whatever you need to do with it. So it's a sustenance food, but if you've never had it, it's absolutely great. You should at least try it once in your life. It's something that everyone should try at least once.
Look, man, it's for sure. If you eat that every day, you're gonna look like a prop.
God, it's
That and some meat and some and some egg on
yeah.
top of pop and
Oh man.
sauce. Have you ever had
Yes, I
egg on
have.
top?
Yeah, I have.
On
The
top of the
problem is
fucking amazing.
I only like my eggs one way, and pop on eggs you have to do like either sunny side up or fried or over easy. I
Yeah.
only like scrambled eggs, so that's not as
Snap. All right.
good.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not
No, it
as
doesn't work
good.
that much. No.
It's kind of like people who
I like mine over easy, by the way.
Oh, is that how you like your eggs? I like mine
Mm.
scrambled. It's like people who want to eat a well done steak. I'm just like, dude, then just why not just give you like a piece of jerky if you want to eat well
Or
done
leather.
steak?
Just chew
Yeah.
on some leather.
Oh God. Um, yeah. But once again, it's always been great. We'll have more news and notes next week for you guys. Thank you once again, Pierre, on a Sunday.
You're
I know
welcome,
it's the
mate.
evening there, and we will thank you guys for continuing to watch. We know a lot of you watch after we've already recorded, so
Yeah, we
if,
appreciate
if
every
you're
one
not
of you.
subscribed, those of you on Twitch, those of you on YouTube, and those of you on Instagram who are all watching live right now, go ahead and subscribe. Would greatly appreciate it. And we'll see you guys next week.